Hi, my name is Brett Chistensen. I'm a training development officer in the Canadian Forces. Currently I'm stationed in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. I work at the Canadian Defence Academy at the moment, and will be transitioning to the Air Force this summer, and I'll be working at the One Wing headquarters, which manages tactical helicopters across the Canadian Forces. My first exposure to HPT was during my training development officer course in 2004. One of my instructors was taking the Master of Science in Instructional and Performance Technology at Boise State University. So that was what got me interested in it, and fortunately the Montreal chapter of ISPI put on a 2-day conference in 2005, and I was fortunate enough to get to go to that conference and met some real leaders in the field, particularly Mickey Lane, who's going to be the president this year. And so that was my first exposure, and I was immediately impressed by the sense of family that was at that conference, and that was what drew me to the international conference later that year. There's a number of influences that I've experienced in my 5 years in the field so far. I've met so many of the leaders in the field. Guy Wallace is definitely one of them, chasing me around every conference, trying to get me to go onto a committee or something. And of course to do this podcast, which I'm happy to do. I had the excellent opportunity to do an HPT workshop with Gary Rumler, Roger Addison, and Lynn Kearney, and Klaus Wittkuhn in New York a couple of years ago, and that was a pretty pivotal moment. But I've met and had the opportunity to work with Roger Chevalier also through the Armed Forces chapter, and he has been a strong influence in my success so far in the field. So I would have to say those are the two most important moments. As far as books and articles, there's so much out there. It's hard to say. Certainly the HPT handbooks, second and third edition, have been prominent for me, especially in my studies at Boise State right now. An HPT project that I've been involved with, I'll talk about two. The first one, when I got my first assignment after my training development officer course, I moved into a unit that was doing e-learning production, and it didn't take long after I got there to figure out that they had no system in place whatsoever for the work that they were trying to do, and this was right at the start of my learning in HPT, so I was kind of applying what I was learning on the fly, which is a good way to learn it, and it's something in my studies and in my writings that I refer back to a lot because it was the first one. And after we analyzed the problem as we were living it, we saw a number of opportunities for improvements, including integrating project management and better integrating ISD into the work that they were doing to make things better. We also developed a number of job aids, and we worked the instructional systems design back to Ruth Clark's work in e-learning, and used her principles as the real foundation of what we were doing there. So it had extremely good results, and the products that we were producing won national awards at the Canadian Society of Training Development 2 years in a row. So I think that speaks volumes to how HPT can help you do other things in the workplace. The other HPT project I'm working on right now is a little different. We're trying to introduce performance improvement into the Canadian Forces Leadership Development Framework so that we can bring HPT to the entire Canadian Forces at the workplace level. So particularly the supervisor and managers of the Canadian Forces. We're following work that the RCMP have done in the U.S. Coast Guard, and we've been talking with them. So that's been an inspiration to us. And where we're at right now is we have permission from our director to move into an analysis phase and look at the competencies that already exist for leaders in the Canadian Forces, and align that with the HPT model and the 12 principles from the International Society of Performance Improvement, and define the gap. And once we have that gap identified, then we can come up with a proposal on how to move forward. So I'm really excited about that. We've been working hard on that for 2 years. My 30-second elevator speech on HPT is not as well developed as some. And basically, when people ask me what I do with respect to HPT, my answer is I try and take you from where you are to where you want to be, using the science of performance improvement. My current focus for learning more about HPT is completing my Master's of Science degree at Boise State University. I've got one elective course and my project portfolio left. I'll be finished in September, so I'm very excited about that. And then my future focus, my immediate future focus, is to finally get my Certified Performance Technology designation, which will tie in nicely with my project portfolio at school, which is why I've waited till now to do it. And then after that, I think my direction will be primarily towards evaluation. That seems to be the area that I like the most and that I'm the strongest at, so I'll continue to build on that.